Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, it is Tuesday, January the 14th, and it is 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's just jump over here and I'll tell you guys what we're doing. Now, as you know from the last video, all the websites were down after I did those two videos, and there's a guy named Yig on YouTube that is also doing videos on this. He was the person that found it in the first place, and so I thought, well, that's it. I'm gonna have to just go with what I have. But someone emailed me later, well, I guess it was late afternoon, and told me that the site was back up mysteriously. Now the other sites aren't, but Glam's Calling is up. So I'm going to just continue on. This will be part 3 of the most important news you've never heard. I do have people to thank, but I'm not going to do it in this video. I'm hoping that I will be able to do another video after this, if possible, because I already had my video for tonight prepared before someone let me know that it was back up, and I rushed over there to get all the information I could off of it. So what we're going to do, the last video we covered was 2016. We are going to cover 2017 in this video. And I want to also recommend to you that if you have not seen at least part 1, that you do so, because you're not going to understand what this is about. So I'm going to just jump right in, assuming that you've seen the other two, and that you know basically what is going on, because if I have to explain that over and over in every video, I'll never get through it ever. So this is December, and we're working backwards here because, well, it just seems to make more sense that way. So to me, and you know, it has to make sense to me before I can explain it to you. So let's take a look at this post. Again, this is on glamscalling.org, and this is the official website for this group that we really don't know much about at all, except what they will divulge themselves. So, and there's a research group that also had a website. They had been researching this group for a great deal of time, and that website was taken down, which is not surprising. Not surprising, because a lot of people said, well, this is a new domain or whatever, and they explain that on the site. They say that, well, you know, we can't keep this site up because every time we get it up, they take it down, but we will keep continuing to post it. We just come back under a different name or whatever. So I don't know. We'll look for that. We'll look for that other website to come back somewhere. All right. But this is the most important website because this is the official one that I got this from. All right. And these are all the posts from 2017. Okay. This is the first one. And well, actually it's the last one because we're working back from the end of the year. And it says, Princess Augusta, it is 279 years since the disaster. Well, I went looking for disasters from 279 years ago, and I found it. All right, let's hang on here. My computer is doing strange things, and I think somebody was in my computer because my little cursor started moving all over by itself, and yeah, it was quite bizarre. Okay, now this is also called the Palatine Light, this ship, okay? The Palatine Light is an apparition reported near Block Island, Rhode Island, said to be the ghost ship of a lost 18th century vessel named the Palatine. The folklore account is based on the historical wreck of the Princess Augusta. So I know that this is the correct one because there's a picture right here of a ship and it says Princess Augusta. So we know we're on the right track here. And so it says the legend is derived from the historical shipwreck of the Princess Augusta at Block Island in 1738. The ship is known for some near contemporary accounts and from depositions taken from the surviving crew after the wreck, which was discovered in 1925 and reprinted in 1939. The 220-ton British ship Augusta sailed from Rotterdam in August 1738 under Captain George Long and a crew of 14, transporting 240 immigrants to English colonies in America. The passengers were German Palatines, natives of the Palatine region, and as such, the ship was described as the Palatine ship. So even though it's referred to as a Palatine ship, it's only because they were carrying Palatines and the ship was actually named Princess Augusta. Well, let's look at what happened. And we come down to the Princess Augusta's voyage was beset by terrible luck. The water supply was contaminated, causing a fever and flux that killed 200 of the passengers and half the crew, including Captain Long. First mate Andrew Brooke took command as severe storms pushed the ship off course to the north, where the survivors spent 3 months enduring extreme weather and depleting stores. According to the crew's depositions, Brooke forced the passengers to pay for the remaining rations. He evidently tried different routes to Rhode Island and Philadelphia, but the gales pushed the damaged and leaking Augusta to Block Island. It wrecked amid a snowstorm at Sandy Point on the island's northernmost end at 2 p.m. December 27th, 1738. So this happened in December. She's posting in December about this. So that is all there is for that. But it says Block Island could present a hazard to shipping in the area due to its geography. As a result, it gained a reputation, perhaps undeservedly, as a haven of wreckers who looted wrecked ships. According to some accounts, the local would go as far as lighting false beacons to encourage wrecks and even kill the survivors, though the veracity of such stories is debatable. So there you go. Yeah, that is the story of that, and that is what that post means. So we can go on from there. I'm quite confident that we've got that. Now, here is the next post, and this is on December 15th. Again, we are working backward. Now, let's look at what this says. This you're going to find interesting. No, I think you will. It says Bilderberg 2018. I know, but you're saying, wait a minute, we're in 2017. Yes, we are, and to prove it, I mean, we're not in 2017, we're in 2020, but this post was posted December 15th, 2017, okay? And it's talking about the next Bilderberger meeting in 2018. And it says the upper chamber, and of course that's the upper chamber of Wetton, has approved the proposed dates of June 7th through June 10th, 2018. This brief provides direction for the agenda. Henry de Castries will chair the steering committee. Borge Brente has my proxy and will represent our interests in all matters related to the Fourth Sector Development Initiative. Prime Minister Mark Rutte from the Netherlands will represent the upper chamber. An invitation is to be extended to Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabic. Okay, so let's just start and take this apart here. Well, first of all, were these two people, were all these people present at the Bilderberg 2018 meeting? And when was it? Well, you will be not so surprised to learn it was June 7th, as she's proposed. And let's take a look at their agenda. But first, I have this. And if you'll notice, here is, the names are backwards, of course. The last names is first. Brende Borge, and and it just says INT, President, World Economic Forum. Ana Brnabić, Prime Minister of Serbia. So, and I looked back for the meeting of 2017, and I got a list of everyone that was in attendance. None of these people listed were in attendance at the 2017 meeting. So she's telling them that this is who she wants at the 2018 meeting, and sure enough, they're there. Now, how she would know that far in advance, I don't know. But I'll show you where I got this from. It is the bilderbergmeetings.org. And it says, we are concerned with the meeting from 2018. So I clicked on 2018 and it gives a press release for it and also the participants. This is where I did my research on who was there and who was not. So I did the same for other meetings. I did the same for the meeting of 2017 to see if any of the same names showed up. They did not. So I found that interesting. And let's go back here and let's come down here. Who are these people? That's what I wanted to know. All right. Well, Henry de Castries is the first person mentioned. And he is a French businessman. He was chairman and CEO of AXA until retiring from both roles on the 1st of December 2016. And so what is his claim to fame? Well, he was the Minister of Finance of France. In 1984, he became a member of the French Treasury. In 1986, he participated in the privatization initiated by Jacques Chirac's government, including whatever, I can't pronounce how it's in French, now known as whatever. So he started his career in AXA in 1989 when he joined the financial direction. In 1991, he was appointed General Secretary in charge of restructure and mergers. So he's had many jobs in finance, suffice it to say. So and he's part of the Bilderberg Group. So there you go. Let's go back and see what else we can find. And I think you might find this interesting, maybe not. This is his biography, is an independent, non-executive director of the company since, and this is Walmine. I don't know what the company they are talking about is, but anyway, probably AXA. Henry de Castries is independent non-executive director of the company since 1st of March 2016. Henry has more than 25 years international experience in the financial services industry. He joined AXA in 1989, holding a different, blah, 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 blah. And let's come down here. What is the salary of Henry Castries? It is a whopping, just shy of $4 million a year. That's right. $4 million a year. That's a pretty hefty salary, especially when he's not really doing anything now. Okay, so let's come back. I just want us to have a general idea of who these people are and that they do exist, because that was one of the things people were saying, none of these people exist. Okay, did you like my impression? It was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, now let's look at this, because I wanted to know who the chairman was of the Bilderberg meeting. So I researched it. And this is what I found. Who is the chairman? Oh, look, it's Henry de Castries, is a well-connected member of French society who also chairs the Bilderberg group of business leaders. He is currently vice chairman of Nestle, it's the world's largest food company, and a director of HSBC, Europe's largest bank. So he's on the steering committee and a vice chair. So isn't that interesting? So let's go back now, because in case you've forgotten, let's look up here. No, really, let's. He's going to chair the steering committee. And what did we just read? He chairs the the steering committee. But the year before that, he didn't. I find that interesting. Now, Borge Brende has my proxy and will represent our interests in all matters related to the Fourth Sector Development Initiative. Now, I thought, I'm not going to find anything on that, but I thought I'd research it anyway. Well, dang it, it does exist. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't know. I had never heard of it before, but it is a thing, and I thought I had the website for it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. No, I didn't get the website for it, so now I'm going to have to search for it again. Oh, dang. But let's look at this Borge Brende. Oh, and these are the other names that she mentioned. These are them. Mark Rutte, and he's Prime Minister. And over here, okay, well, I don't know why I marked it twice. I don't know. I must have been smoking dope when I did this. I don't know. No, I don't smoke dope. All right. This is the other person mentioned, and he is a Norwegian politician and diplomat of the Conservative Party, serving as president of the World Economic Forum since 2017. He previously was a Minister of Foreign Affairs from 2013 to 2017, Minister of the Environment from 2001 to 2002, and Minister of Trade and Industry from 2004 to 2005. He was also a member of Norwegian Parliament from 1997 to 2009. So he is very much a real person, and he served as a chairman on the United Nations Commission on Sustainable Development, and also part of the Red Cross as Secretary General. And World Economic Forum. He rejoined the World Economic Forum in 2011. Blah 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 blah. All right, that's him. Now, so much to try to pull together here in just one post. Okay, so I have shown you that all of these people exist, all of them are important, and they were not present at the previous Bilderberger group, so who would have known that they were going to be at the next? And Mark Rutte, if I'm pronouncing that, oh yes, I put none of the people mentioned here were at the 2017 Bilderberger meeting. However, an interesting side note, John O'Brien was. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, now I want to find out what this, gosh, did she mention it up here? I think she did. Fourth Sector Development Initiative. We can just look it up now. Why can't we? Oh, well, look at it, came right up. So the Fourth Sector Development Initiative is a collaboration of public, private, and philanthropic institutions committed to accelerating sustainable, inclusive development by catalyzing trillions of dollars of fourth sector growth globally by 2030. So that is who they are, but that's something I want to dig into a little bit more. And, you know, this video will be long enough. So I will let you know when I dig into this stuff, if there's anything interesting, I will come back and I'll update you on all this. So let's just go here quickly and see what it says. Global Future Council on International Governance. Sounds like a New World Order to me. World Economic Forum, and this is part of it. Fourth Sector Development Initiative. September 2017, Global Future Council, Public-Private Cooperation and Sustainable Development. So I find that interesting. All right, let's go on now. So what she's saying, basically, is that Henry de Castro is going to chair, and that Borge Brende is going to represent the interests of the House of Wetton, the upper chamber, in matters related to the Fourth Sector Development Initiative. And Prime Minister Mark Rutte from the Netherlands will represent the upper chamber. Now, she says an invitation is to be extended to Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabić. And here she is, right here, the first time she's ever attended a Bilderberg meeting. All right. And Mark Rutte is the last person we need to look at here, if I'm pronouncing that right, and I'm probably not. He is a Dutch politician serving as Prime Minister of the Netherlands since 2010 and leader of the People's Party for Freedom and Democracy since 2006. So that is who he is, and he represents her interests. Interesting. Okay, at the Bilderberg meeting, or represents her. I think that's what she said. He's representing her. Where am I here? Let's just go back up to be sure. Yeah, Prime Minister Mark Rutte will represent the upper chamber. So, yeah. So that was December 2017. And now we're going on to November because we're working backwards. All right. Why are we working backwards? I don't know. It just seemed to make sense when they were all laid out. Okay. So this is very interesting as well. Fiery angels. We saw heavens break. Fiery angels kiss the dawn. All the world asleep. So I figured, okay, this is probably an astrological thing, or like in the heavens, like not astrology, astronomy. So that's where I looked, and yes, I found it. I did indeed. Let's look at this. Don't miss Jupiter and Venus at dawn. This was November 12th, and when did she write this? I think she wrote this November 13th. So it would be the dawn of November 13th where it was seen. So even though it was, they're saying it happened on the 12th, it didn't. It actually happened at daybreak the next day. So it says, we saw heavens break. Fiery angels kiss the dawn. All the world asleep. So let's go back up over here and take a look at this. Spectacular Venus-Jupiter conjunction on Monday. These are the two brightest planets, and they'll be less than a moon width apart. If you do miss them on Monday, keep watching. The moon is about to sweep past them. And it says, only the sun and moon outshine them. When these two worlds come together in our sky, it's a very special time to be outdoors gazing skyward. They were last visible near one another in the west after sunset. In August of 2016, they'll be extremely close again, another conjunction, this time in the east before dawn. In November 2017, at conjunction, Venus and Jupiter will be less than a moon width apart. When should you watch? They are closest on the sky's dome at or around November 13th, 2017. You'll be looking east before sun up. Venus has been there for some months, very bright. It's low in the sky at dawn now. You'll want an unobstructed horizon, no trees or tall buildings. Only two such planets could withstand so much twilight in the sky. But indeed, these two worlds are bright. Jupiter's very recent conjunction with the sun, when it was traveling more or less behind the sun from Earth, happened on October 26. That event marked Jupiter's official transition out of the evening sky and into the morning sky. So Jupiter has just emerged from the dawn. After it passes Venus on November 13th, Jupiter will ascend higher in the pre-dawn sky each day. So she has written a post to commemorate that, and said, yeah, they were fiery angels kiss the dawn. They're close together. They kiss. They're fiery because they're very bright. Only the sun and the moon are brighter. And all the world is asleep because most people are asleep at that time of the morning. So there you go. That was her post from November 2017. And yes, it makes sense. And yes, it's verifiable. Now, here's where we get very, very controversial. And I know you're going to ask me what I think about this, and I don't know. I don't know. Now, some people have said, well, Q said no outside communication, so this is false. Q is not communicating here. This is coming from Somerset Balanoff and the, the upper chamber. So let's start October 31st and work back. Okay, the first post says, Lamashtu is strong and Pazuzu wanes in false symmetry. I had no idea, but I just had a feeling that these were gods or goddesses that she was talking about. So I looked that up. That's where I started. And this is Lamashtu, and that's how it is pronounced. I know that's correct. Is the mother and patroness of many mishapen and malformed creatures that crawl, slither, or flap on above or below the surface of Golarion. Her unholy symbol is a three-eyed jackal head, which may be represented in many ways, and her sacred animal is the jackal. Her names, she goes by the Demon Queen, Mother of Monsters, Demon Mother, Mother of Beasts, Mother of Demons, Mother of Perversion, Mistress of Insanity, Grandmother Nightmare, and Lamashtan. So that is, now, are they summoning these demons behind these, because a lot of these so-called old goddesses and goddesses are demons. There's a demon behind them. So I don't know. But I guess it says her home is Cernugia, the largest layer of the abyss. And she's portrayed by a jackal-headed woman. All right, that's who Lamashtu is. And let's go back. We can close that down and let's go back. And Pazuzu, who's he? She? It? Well, okay, it's the Assyro Babylonian god Pazuzu. And this is what he looks like. And it is represented by a male with I don't know what's on his head. Oh, I guess that's like a little thing to wear as a necklace. It says, Pazuzu is often depicted as a combination of diverse animal and human parts. He has the body of a man, the head of a lion or dog, talons of an eagle, two pairs of wings, and a scorpion's tail. He has his right hand up and left hand down, just like the Baphomet, right? Has one hand up, one hand down. So Pazuzu is the demon of the southwest wind, known for bringing famine during dry seasons and locusts during rainy season. Pazuzu was invoked in apotropaic amulets, which combat the powers of his rival, the malicious goddess Lamashtu. So who was believed to cause harm to mother and child during childbirth. Although Pazuzu is himself considered to be an evil spirit, he drives and frightens away other evil spirits, therefore protecting humans against plagues and misfortunes. So, yeah. So, all right. Let's come back here. And so it says, Lamashtu is strong. And Pazuzu wanes in false symmetry. So Pazuzu's getting weaker, and Lamashtu, the mother of demons, the whatever, is getting strong. But it's interesting in both of these gods and goddesses that there's an emphasis on part animal, part beast. And I'm wondering if this has to do with the experimentation that is happening between animal and beast. I mean, between man and beast. I'm just wondering, because they both represent animal and beast. So, and the other thing I did was I went to October. Oh no, I didn't. I went to November. I should have gone to October. No, that's why I did that. October. This is October 31st. So if anything was going to happen that, you know, might be connected to this, it would happen in November because that's the last day of the month. So I looked up what happened in November. Oh, my gosh. And what happened in November? Let's take a look. Historical events. UK Defense Secretary Michael Fallon resigns due to his behavior towards women, part of a wider scandal of sexual harassment by UK politicians. Boiler explosion at an NTPC government-run coal-fired plant in India, kills 29. November 2nd, Jerome Powell nominated by U.S. President Donald Trump to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve. And it says on this day, founder of, I don't even know what that is. It's a calendar app for users in India. I don't think that has anything to do with this. And it says Pakistani woman charged with poisoning 17 members of her husband's family. And Breeders' Cup horse racing, don't think that's it. Saudi Arabia arrests 11 princes and other ministers on corruption charges, including billionaire investor Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. And remember that this was the time, and Q was posting about cleaning up Saudi Arabia. That's when all that happened with all the arrests and everything. Now, whether that's connected, I don't know. So that is the only thing that really popped out to me in all of this. And this typhoon struck Vietnam's south central coast. President Donald Trump begins a 12-day trip to Asia. Gunman shoots 26 dead and injures 20 at the church in Sunderland Springs, Texas. And the Paradise Papers are leaked. That's big. So I don't know. Those are the big things that I see here. So let's leave that and let's go back. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of my tea. Oh, that's so hot. It just burned the soul right out of you. I love this because it keeps it hot or cold for 24 hours. Of course, with the lid on. It won't stay hot that long without the lid on, but they're pretty incredible. All right. So we're going to leave that post and we're going to come up to the next one, which happened on, it was posted on October 27th, 2017. And we've got this very controversial post right here that people are freaking out about. And they're saying, oh, this is fake, because Q said that he didn't ever communicate outside the board. Well, Q isn't communicating here. This isn't from Q. This says, Windsor Tower, unleash the storm. Begin posting and expect major impact. All shall awaken. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? I'm going to pause this for a minute because I'm going to cough and I don't want to cough on camera. So I'm just going to pause it here for a second. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's continue here. And we can, we've covered this about Q, and I don't know. I'm not going to make any comments about this because I just don't know. I wish I did. I wish I could give you an answer and say, oh, well, this explains it. I don't know. Because it makes it sound here, and the royals are involved because Windsor Tower, and it says unleash the storm. I don't know what this means, because if we take it at face value, it would mean that Q was part of this whole thing, this upper chamber and the Wetton Council and the Somerset Bellenoff Glams Castle. So I don't know, but I'm just giving the information to you. and you can let me know in the comments below what you think, as long as it's nice and respectful, because if you start, using swear words and stuff, I just delete it because that affects my channel. So, all right. Now, this is October. This was the second one, Unleash the Storm. And here we have the last post for that. Well, actually, it's the first post for that day, October 12th. And it says, VDAFB, you have clearance to send Minotaur C into the heavens on Winter Phyla 31. Now, this word right here, which I may or may not be pronouncing correctly, was the Anglo-Saxon or Old English name for the month of October. It marked and celebrated the beginning of winter. They called the month when the winter season began. I don't even know what that's this word, but a word composed of winter and full moon, because winter began on the first full moon of that month. So this is saying, VDAFP, you have clearance to send Minotaur C, which is a satellite, I'm going to show you, into the heavens on October 31st. Now, what is VDAFP? Well, we're going to see. This is VDAFP right here. Oh, hang on. I don't know. Hopefully this is gonna, yeah. Vandenberg Air Force Base. That's what it is. Those are the initials it goes by. And it is a United States Air Force base located 9.2 miles northwest of Lompoc, California. The installation falls under the jurisdiction of the 30th Space Wing, United States Space Force. Interesting. Vandenberg AFB is a Department of Defense space and missile testing base with a mission of placing satellites into polar orbit from the West Coast using expendable boosters and reusable boosters. Wing personnel also support the service LGM-30G Minuteman III Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Force Development Evaluation Program. In addition to its military mission, the base also leases pad facilities to SpaceX, as well as 100 acres leased to the California Spaceport in 1995. It was established in 1941. And it was named in honor of former Air Force Chief of Staff, General Hoyt Vandenberg. All right, so there is such a place. And what does it do? It sends missiles into space, or satellites. All right, let's go back. See if we can verify anything else in this post. Well, we can. Minotaur C. We're going to take a look at that. It is a satellite, formerly known as Taurus, or Taurus XL, is a 4-stage solid-fueled launch vehicle built in the United States by Orbital Sciences, now Northrop Grumman, and launched from SLC 576E at California's Vandenberg Air Force Base. Interesting. No, and when, perchance, was it launched? Well, let's come down here and we'll find out. Oh, look at this. October 31st, 2017. Model 3210, 92 inches fairing, Castor 120 stage 0, whatever that means. So yeah, it was launched that day. The day that she said it would be launched. Let's go back. Now, this was in October. This was on October 12th, and she was saying that you have clearance to send it on October 31st. And that is exactly when it was sent up into space. So that verifies that post. And let's go up to the next month here. And this is an interesting one. It says, the sound of 13 trumpets will carry across the water to summon Lord Chaos from the bowels of Thomas Kirkbride's terrible edifice. That sounds odd, doesn't it? Now, when you think of the bowels of a building or the bowels of the earth, I think about tunnels. So she's saying the sound of 13 trumpets will carry across the water, because what she's referring to is in the United States, and it will summon Lord Chaos from the bowels, the tunnels of Thomas Kirkbridge's terrible edifice. Now, let's look at this. What do we have a picture of here? A tunnel. And let's come down here. This was posted on September 19th, 2017. Now, let's look, because I didn't even know this was a real person. And it is. His name is Thomas Story Kirkbride. Thomas Story Kirkbride, July 31st, 1809 to December 16th, 1883, was a physician, advocate for the mentally ill, and founder of the Association of Medical Superintendents of American Institutions for the Insane, a precursor to the American Psychiatric Association. Now, he also built hospitals. You don't say. I do say. Kirkbridge was an advocate of building hospitals for the mentally ill in a style which he believed promoted recovery and healing. The style was used on many late 19th century hospitals, including St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C. Many of these buildings, designed by leading architects of the time, are in ruins or decay. An estate, now known as The Village, previously Traverse City State Hospital, was saved from destruction and restored. Now, there's not a lot of his buildings left, because a lot of them are crumbling, they're in decay, they've been destroyed, whatever. So I went through every single one of them. And this is what I found, and this is what I believe that she's talking about. So let's go back to here, and let's look at this. This building, it says, astounding and creepy facts about the Kalamazoo Psychiatric Hospital. This was built by Thomas Kincaid. Or Thomas Kincaid. Is that his name? Thomas Kirkbride. Thomas Kincaid is a painter. Oh, I don't know where my mind is tonight, but it needs to come back. All right, it says the Kalamazoo Psychiatric Hospital is filled with a rich and creepy history. The hospital opened on August 29th, 1959, and was originally named the Michigan Asylum for the Insane, and it was the largest hospital of its kind. Historic buildings on the hospital grounds located on Oakland Drive, are almost a mile long. Would that be sufficient to be a mighty edifice, or whatever she said, terrible edifice or something like that? I've forgotten already. See, my mind is gone. But it says they're almost a mile long, and was such a prominent feature of this section of the city. Oakland Drive was originally known as Asylum Avenue, as shown on the historic map of Kalamazoo. The property had two working farms. The very famous water tower that was constructed in 1895 and is 172 feet tall, plus a gatehouse that was built in the style of Carpenter Gothic. The gatehouse, or gate cottage as the staff referred to it, housed about a dozen female patients. All right. So, okay, we don't care about that. In 1954, an additional, okay, that's not, should be an addition was added to the 45,000 square foot hospital. That's huge. A tuberculosis ward. The faculty also became the tuberculosis sanitarium, and it's listed in the top 10 most haunted places in Michigan. According to Cliff Notes, in 1937, Malcolm X's mother, Louise Little, was admitted to the hospital due to a nervous breakdown. Malcolm hardly visited her, and she was not out until 1963. Anyway, let's go on here. Now, this caught my attention right here. Kalamazoo Asylum Tunnel System. There have long been rumors that there are extensive tunnels running under the building. Those who have previously investigated the rumored tunnels report faculty's management at WMU, who are charged with maintaining the property, say any tunnels and underground structures not already sealed or demolished were dynamited, as further deterioration was making them unsafe. WMU has maintained the property since 1975, but if they were being used for another purpose, perhaps they sealed them off for that reason. I don't know. But it says, according to the Kalamazoo Library, in 1904, a doctor was attacked by a patient and stabbed to death. And haunting of the asylum claims people who live in the area have reported seeing figures walk by the broken window in the daylight. This is interesting because the hospital is completely closed off to the public. Locals claim they often hear screams of torture and cries of pain coming from the building. Those facts may give you pause if you pass by the hospital alone on a chilly fall evening. So, yeah. Now, I haven't had time to look into that further. That's another thing I want to do a dig on because that's some interesting stuff right there. Let's go back and we'll see that this makes perfect sense now. The sound of 13 trumpets. Now, I tried to get at what the sound of the 13 trumpets, but I could not find anything on that. So I'll continue to dig on that. We'll carry across the water, because it's in Michigan, to summon Lord Chaos from the bowels of Thomas Kirkbride's terrible edifice. Well, wouldn't you say that hospital's massive, and it was the most prominent thing on the whole street, of course, and that's why it was renamed to the street was renamed to Asylum, or from, I don't know, I can't remember now. It was named, yeah, it was always known as Asylum Avenue or something like that. Let me see. I don't know. I must be getting tired because my mind is not as sharp as it should be. Let's see. Maybe they say it here. Let's just go back and be sure here. Yeah, it says the hospital grounds located on Oakland Drive are almost a mile long. That's a massive piece of land. It's almost a mile long and was such a prominent feature of this section of the city. Oakland Drive was originally known as Asylum Avenue. Okay, so I would think that would probably, suffice to be a terrible edifice. And so that is what they're talking about. But what has gone on down there, or what is going on down there, I don't know. Be interesting. If any of you are from Kalamazoo, let us know in the comments what you've heard about this place. Okay, so let's go back up, and we're still in September. Now, this is on September 2nd, and it says Glams and the Wetton Upper Chamber approve the candidacy of Erna Solberg. We strongly support her for re-election on September 12th and have taken steps to ensure victory. Now, I'm not going to go to her wiki, but over here it says a parliamentary election was held in Norway on the 11th of September 2017. The non-socialist parties retained a reduced majority of 88 seats, allowing Prime Minister Erna Solberg, Conservative Progressive Coalition, to remain in government. So it says re-election on September 12th, and she was re-elected on September no, I guess the election was held on the 11th of September. They probably got the results of that election on the 12th of September, and she was indeed reelected. So I don't know. Now, let's come up from that. Now, why they're commenting on all these various things, I don't know. But it seems to have been posted before. But I know people are saying, yeah, but when we go to the who is, or whatever they call it. It says that the domain is only a year old. Well, it might be only a year old, but it might have been housed somewhere else previously. So I don't know. Does that definitively disprove this? No, I don't think it does. I think we have reason to question this, but we also have reason to take note of it because it seems a little weird to me. And it must seem weird to you, or you wouldn't be listening to this video. Now, let's come up to the next one. And this was posted on September 1st. We're still in September. All right. And it says, Mr. Cayetano, the upper chamber is issuing a pointed directive. Sever trade relations with Pyongyang? I can't remember now. I used to know how to pronounce that because I practiced it, but now I've forgotten. It's what happens when you get old, kids. Okay, so this is Alan Peter Cayetano, and he is a Filipino politician and diplomat who currently serves as Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines. He has also served as the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of the Philippines from 2017 to 2018. So he would have been Secretary of Foreign Affairs for Philippines when this was posted. And what was this in the middle of? It was in the middle of trade wars with China. So let's take a look at this. Just a result of my search results here because it brought back a lot of entries, which we're not going to take the time to look at them all. But again, this is confirmed because here's my search results. U.S.-China trade war. Where does the Philippines fit in? Because Philippines, that was their biggest trade partner, it was with China. As U.S.-China trade war intensifies, Philippines seeks to, let's just get the headline here. As U.S.-China trade wars intensifies, Philippines seeks to balance ties and even benefit from mounting tensions. But not if Somerset Belanoff has her way. And it says, Philippines seeks new markets. Now this is May. Oh, that's in 2012. That does not apply to us. But now this is from 2019. China commits to strengthen trade with Philippines, but it actually weakened that during that period of the U.S. trade war with China. So let's go back here, and this makes more sense now, right? The upper chamber is issuing a pointed directive. Sever trade relations with Pyongyang. So that makes sense to me. This was September 1st, 2017, and this was all in the heat of the trade wars. So they didn't want the Philippines trading with China at that time. So let's go back up here, and this is August. And we have another Q here, and this says, Windsor Tower, prepare for storm. And it says, Initiative Q is approved by GLOMS. I've heard different pronunciation of this, but I've heard that the locals pronounce it GLOMS. If that's true or not true, let me know. And the upper chamber, prepare posts for winter, and there's that term again, because she's saying Q is to begin posting on October 31st on 4chan. And he actually began posting, I believe, on October 28th. I think that was his first post on 4chan. But, oh yeah, right here it says, prepare posts for, and we know this means October 28 on channel 4. Where did he begin? 4chan, that's where he started. And when did he start? October 28th of 2017. This was made August 31st of 2017, before he started posting. And it says Initiative Q is approved by Gloms and the Upper Chamber. Prepare posts for October 28th on Channel 4, 4chan. A little bit eerie. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't like what it implicates at all. But you know what? I am committed to the truth wherever it takes me. And that's all I can say. I'm not saying I'm for or against or whatever at this time, because it needs a lot more investigation. But I am committed to the truth, and I am going to bring you the truth as I find it and as I see it. So if I find evidence against Q, or that, I will bring it to you. Now, I'm not saying that this is or isn't. I don't know until it's investigated further. But it's interesting nonetheless. All right. Now, we're up into July of 2017, and this says Supreme Court of Pakistan. It is the opinion of Gloms and the Upper Chamber that Mr. Sharif is not qualified to serve as Prime Minister of Pakistan. Please ensure your ruling reflects our own judgment on the matter. So let's look at this. Come on. There we go. Okay. Here he is. This is the person in question, and he's a Pakistani businessman and politician who served as the Prime Minister of Pakistan for 3 non-consecutive terms. Sharif is the longest serving Prime Minister of Pakistan, having served a total of more than 9 years. Okay, but what happened to him? In 2017, Sharif was removed from office by the Supreme Court of Pakistan regarding revelations from the Panama Papers case. In 2018, the Pakistani Supreme Court disqualified Sharif from holding public office, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But he was removed in 2017, and I think it says here when he was removed. July 2017. He was removed in July 2017, and that's when this post is from. Interesting. No, I think it is. All right, now this is posted on July 17th, and this is another post, and it says, Lady Janet Douglas, the most awful day of the year, dear lady, but I would be grateful if you would be so kind as to join me in the chapel at midnight for our usual meeting. Your seat is reserved, as it has been these past 480 years. Yours always, Somerset. Now, Lady Janet Douglas of Gloms, executed for witchcraft, July 17th, 1537. No such person? Oh, I beg to differ. Lady Douglas, also known as Lady Gloms. Janet Douglas, Lady Gloms, 1498 to the 17th of July, which is when that was posted, 1537, was a Scottish noblewoman accused of witchcraft who was burned to death during the reign of James V of Scotland. The Douglas family was far from favored by King James V of Scotland. Janet's brother, Archibald Douglas, 6th Earl of Angus, was the king's stepfather, and Angus had imprisoned the young James. James' hatred for Angus extended to his whole family, including Janet. After James had broken free of the Douglas family in December 1528, Janet was summoned for treason. She was accused, with others, for bringing supporters of the Earl of Angus to Edinburgh in June. However, James called her our Lovetous Dame Jonat Douglas in a license of 1529, allowing her and a co-accused Patrick Charteris of wherever to go on pilgrimage and be exempt from legal proceedings. However, James had Janet accused of witchcraft against him. Although it was clear that the accusations were false, she was imprisoned with her husband, who escaped but was later killed, in a dungeon of Edinburgh Castle, it was easy for James to imprison Janet, but actually convicting her was more difficult. To gain evidence, James had Janet's family members and servants subjected to torture. Jane was convicted and burned at the stake on the 17th of July, 1537, on the esplanade of Edinburgh Castle, which her young son was forced to watch. So, interesting. And she was, it's very interesting that she is called Lady Glamis. All right. And I think it says somewhere, no, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I know you're saying, no, not you, but, oh yeah. I was being sarcastic there. I know I'm wrong sometimes. All right, let's go back here. So it says, this makes sense to me now. So this person really did exist. She was Lady Janet Douglas of Glamis, executed for witchcraft on this very day that she posted it, 480 years ago. And she said, the most awful day of the year, dear lady, but I would be grateful if you would be so kind as to join me in the chapel at midnight for our usual meeting. So, and she's saying your seat is reserved. So it's quite obvious that she expects, this person to come back from the dead, which of course is not her coming back from the dead, it's a demon, and speak to her in the chapel. She's saving a seat for her, and that is quite interesting. It says, yours always, Somerset. Find that very, very interesting. And here we are into June. Oh, no, wait, did I get all of these? I think that was the only one. Yes. Well, it wasn't the only one, but we covered both of them. All right, let's come up to here, June. And we've got this, Hamlin Remembers. It is 733 years since our children left. And it has a wave form, and I've downloaded them all to save them. And actually somebody did that for me, so I can't say that it was me. But she has this fascination, and we covered this in the last video. She has this fascination with the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Germany, and not sure why, but she did this in 2016 as well. She posted the same thing. I don't think she posted the wave, but interesting nonetheless. And if you saw the last video that I did, it would have been the second one. Then you'll recognize this as something that she is obsessed with, or not, maybe not obsessed with, but she's very taken with the idea. All right, and up here, posted on June 21st, 2017, which is the summer solstice, isn't it? I think it is. Bohemian Grove is pleased to welcome the Blind Butcher of Bedlam as new camp valet for Owl's Nest. And I believe the Owl's Nest is for the elite of the elite. That would be where the presidents would go and stuff, I think, because I know that President Reagan and there were several presidents that that's the camp that they go to at Bohemian Grove. So I think that is what it is. It's for the elites. And so the Blind Butcher of Bedlam, well, who's that? Well, you might remember that from the first video. Let's come down here. The Hollydales, that is the restaurant that serves strange meat, if you get my drift. The Hollydales' head chef is none other than Ian Sinclair, the famed Blind Butcher of Bedlam. Ian is a master chef, blind from birth and trained at the Cordon Bleu in Paris, convicted in 1999 of killing, butchering, cooking, and eating his business partners. He was ordered to serve a life sentence at the Bedlam Psychiatric Facility in London, but remember the story that she was able to get him out, whatever. I don't know. I need to look into this further because people have said this about this person as well. He doesn't exist. But I'm going to look into this further because I am quite convinced that if all the other people exist, so does he. I'm just saying. It would be odd that they would, name all these people and yeah, sure, they exist, but this person doesn't. I don't know. I think there's something to it, and I'm going to look into it further, and I'll let you know. So he is the new, pleased to welcome Blind Butcher of Bedlam as the new camp valet for the Owl's Nest. I guess maybe some of them like strange meat as well. Let's go on. And this is posted in May of that year. And it says, Serbian Prime Minister appointment, President Vučić, it is the desire of GLOMS and the upper chamber that you appoint Ana Brnabić to fill the prime minister post you are vacating. Upon your inauguration as president, you will nominate Ms. Brnabić as your successor. GLOMS will ensure the National Assembly approves the proposal. Now, this is Alexander Vučić. He is a Serbian politician who has been the president of Serbia since the 31st of May, 2017, after leaving the ultra-nationalist Serbian Radical Party in 2008. He became one of the founders of the populist conservative Serbian Progressive Party, and he has been the party's president since 2012. All right, well, so here is Ana Brnabić, and remember they asked that she be present at the Bilderberg meeting, and she was. Ana Brnabić is a Serbian politician who has been the prime minister of Serbia since the 29th of June 2017. When was this posted? May 15th, 2017. She is the first woman, first openly gay, and first person with Croat ethnic descent to hold the office. Interesting. Interesting. And this was posted on May 15th. And they're saying, upon your inauguration as president, you will nominate Ms. Brnabić as your successor. GLAMS will ensure the National Assembly approves the proposal. And apparently they did. Okay, so that is that from May. And let's go up to April. April 2017. We've got this. SBIRS-GO2 tracked as Object 39120 is available for slide-com, execute Capricorn load signal and relay to Cathedral Tower. Now, I believe Cathedral Tower is in Brussels, Belgium. So let's see. Does this exist? What do you think? Of course it exists. And this is what it is. CBIRS-GEO, space-based infrared sensor, geostationary, is the geostationary component of the SBIRS High program, which will replace the DSP system of early warning satellites in providing early warning for intercontinental ballistic missile launches. That's what it's for. It senses, it's an early warning system for intercontinental ballistic missile launches. So, let's look here, back here. So it's saying that it's tracked an object 39120 is available for slide.com, and I think it's probably taking pictures, and she's probably referring that it's on a slide. They've tracked an object 39120 and they have it on a slide, and execute Capricorn load signal and relay to Cathedral Tower. So what's Capricorn load? Well, let's look at this. And I think this is it. I'm not 100% sure, but I would think it is because it's called Capricorn. And what is it? Australian owned and operated ground segment service provider for the space industry. Capricorn Space is now open for business, providing Southern Hemisphere access to low Earth orbiting, and I don't know what MEO stands for, and geo missions. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that is what they're referring to there. So let's go back. And so it says that this satellite tracked an object, and the object is 39120. I tried to look up information on that. I can't find it. And it's available for slide.com, which means probably that they've taken the picture and they've uploaded it wherever they upload it so that it can be viewed. And it says execute Capricorn load signal and relay to Cathedral Tower, which is in Brussels, Belgium, I do believe. Okay, now let's come up here. This is April 2017. We're still on April, and this is April 5th. Assad's chemical weapon attack on Khan Sheikhon must be answered. Unleash Tomahawk barrage. What's a Tomahawk? It's a missile. The Tomahawk land attack missile is a long-range, all-weather, jet-powered subsonic cruise missile that is primarily used by the United States Navy and Royal Navy in ship and submarine-based land attack operations. Okay, that makes sense. Now, who is Khan Sheikhon? Khan Sheikhon, sometimes spelled Khan Sheikhon or Khan Sheikhon, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Is a town. So this isn't a person. It's a town. And subdistrict of the whatever. Anyway, it is in northwest Syria. Okay, so it's in northwest Syria, this town. It said Assad's chemical weapon attack on this town in northern Syria must be answered. Unleash the Tomahawk barrage. Okay. Well, and this is Bashar al-Assad, who she's talking about. And who's he? He is a Syrian politician who has been the president of Syria since the 17th of July 2000. In addition, he is commander-in-chief of the Syrian Armed Forces and regional secretary of the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party's branch in Syria. His father, Hafez al-Assad, was also president of Syria from 1971 to 2000. So he took over from his father, and he is the commander-in-chief of the Syrian armies and the president of Syria. And look when he was born, September 11th. Ah, interesting. Okay, now let's look at this. Because we can. The Khan Sheikhon chemical attack took place on the 4th of April, 2017 on the town of Khan Sheikhun. I think it's probably pronounced Sheikhun in the Idlib governorate of Syria. The town was reported to have been struck by an airstrike by government forces, followed by massive civilian chemical poisoning. The release of a toxic gas, which included sarin or a similar substance, killed at least 89 people and injured more than 541, according to the opposition Idlib Health Directorate. The attack was the deadliest use of chemical weapons in the Syria civil war since the Ghouta chemical attack in 2013. So there was a chemical attack on that town by Assad. All right, so we've verified that. But what we haven't verified yet, and we're going to, is, this is being directed to Washington Tower. So Washington. Assad's chemical weapon attack on this town must be answered. Unleash Tomahawk barrage. This was on April 5th, the day after that attack occurred. And let's come down here and let's just see. Oh, looky here. Trump launched airstrikes after this town was gassed in 2017. Now Assad's military is moving in. Now this is CNN. I'm only concerned that that's what the town looks like now. So yeah. So I think what they're saying is, yeah. This is from August 23rd, 2019. So yeah, but he did launch airstrikes after that town was gassed. So that's correct. All right. So again, we've proven that, well, we knew the people or the person existed, but it's another post just the day after this happened. And she's saying unleash the Tomahawk barrage. And it happened very shortly after that the U.S. released a Tomahawk barrage. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, does that prove that this person's real? No. Does it prove that this isn't a LARP? No. But can you prove that it is? I haven't seen sufficient proof. The proof that people have offered is very flimsy, very flimsy. Now, I don't know what it is. I'm just exploring it and investigating it because it's interesting and it might be potentially massive. So I don't know. But let's go up to March 27th, and we're getting near the end here. Madame Prime Minister, invoke it immediately. Article 50. Now, this Article 50 had to be revoked by Theresa May before they could do the Brexit. I don't understand the whole thing, but it says Article 50 revoke Theresa May Brexit latest whatever. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. I know you know probably basically what's going on there, but they needed this Article 50 revoked or invoked. I don't know, but that had to be taken care of before Brexit could happen. Come on. Now it says it's not responding. Please respond. I've been good to you today. Well, I think I'll take a sip of tea. So how are you all guys doing today? That wasn't great grammar, but all right. Over the last few days, people have been asking me what on earth's happening with Brexit. And it says, is the revocation of Article 50 by the Prime Minister becoming more likely? Theresa May has always been vehemently opposed to stopping the UK's departure process, but some say things are changing. After more than 2 years of talks, could the UK be about to call time on Brexit by revoking Article 50? What does revoking Article 50 mean? The Lisbon Treaty set out the rules of EU membership, and Article 50 was the part that dealt with quitting the bloc. So that is that. And I could look into that further, but by this time, I think I was getting a little tired. But anyway, we do know what that means. She's asking the Prime Minister to invoke it immediately. This was March 27th, 2017. Now, what I need to still find out was if it was invoked or revoked immediately after. Some of you guys listening from the UK may know. But I should have looked that up, but I didn't. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're going up to the next one in March, and we have this. The upper chamber supports the right of a private company to implement rules of conduct related to religious symbology. It is the position of the upper chamber that an internal rule established by a firm which prohibits the visible wearing of any political, physiological or philosophical or religious sign does not constitute discrimination. That shall be the court's ruling. Now this says European Court of Justice, and it says the upper chamber supports the right of a private company to implement rules of conduct related to religious symbology. And it says it is the position of the upper chamber that an internal rule established by a firm which prohibits the visible wearing of any political, philosophical, or religious sign does not constitute discrimination. So that shall be the court's ruling. Now, again, this needs more fleshing out because I don't know. Was there a discussion on that? I would assume that there was, and I would assume that they ruled that it did not constitute discrimination. That's like if you work for a company. Now, I worked at the head office of Lowe's for, I don't know, 5 years. And you couldn't have anything religious on your email, or you couldn't wear anything religious or whatever, because it was just and you couldn't, talk about politics and all that stuff. And that's pretty common in a place of work. And so I don't see an issue with that, because when you're at work, you're at work. And I don't know, like most of the people I worked with knew I was a Christian, but I didn't have to go in there wearing a big cross for them to know. They just knew. So there you go. But I'm going to flesh that out a little bit more. And we have this, the South Korea Judicial Panel. The upper chamber strongly supports the South Korean parliament's position on the impeachment of Park Geun-hye, I think maybe. Judges must ensure their ruling reflects Wetton's position on this matter. And guess what? He was impeached. That was in March, and it's a she. Forgive me. And it says she was in office from the 3rd of December 2016 until the 10th of March 2017. And she was impeached. She was removed from office by the Constitutional Court of Korea. So, again, it's confirmed that what this is talking about is, in fact, this was the 6th. She was removed on the 7th. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so that was March. And this should say 2017, not 18. All right. And now we're in February. We're almost finished. I just said, we're almost finished. No, we'll never be finished. I'll never be finished because I didn't come from Finland. But we're almost finished. Okay, now Windsor Tower. Now this one, I have no idea. I looked and looked and looked, and I have no idea what this is talking about. If any of you do, let me know. I don't know why I was putting 2018 up here. Oops. Okay, it says Windsor Tower, this was posted on February 12th. GLOMS advises soft landing on forgotten frequency. Support staff are in place for library update. I have no idea. No idea. I tried to look to see if there was any famous libraries that were updated at that time, or were being updated at that time. I've checked all sorts of things. We talked about the forgotten frequency in the last video. So it's just a frequency that they use to communicate with one another. And I wish I had more on that, but I don't. But if any of you have any clues, put it in the comments below. And now we are, what was I doing? Putting 2018 on there. I don't know. Maybe some of you can tell me why I did that, because I don't know. All right, and this is interesting. This one says Washington Tower, executive action is required. Strong controls require strong resolve, as well as judicial restructure. Now, of course, the U.S. needs judicial restructuring because it's obviously a huge, massive mess. And it says strong controls require strong resolve. Now, President Trump, he has strong controls, and she's saying it requires strong resolve as well as a judicial restructure. So let's look at what happened in January 2017 to see if we can get any more clues. Alrighty. Now, okay, United Nations, Portuguese politician and diplomat Antonio Guterres becomes United Nations Secretary General. Well, I don't think that's it. U.S. House Republicans vote to gut the independent office of Congressional Ethics. A public uproar forces them back down the next day. So they did attempt to do something here, and that's interesting. And Elizabeth Warren announces her intention to run for a second term as Massachusetts senator. Well, I don't think that that would fall in with a judicial restructure. This, maybe. And that's tennis. Definitely not. Not that. College football. U.S. President Barack Obama in surprise presentation awards Vice President Joe Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Okay. That needed a collective eye roll. Everybody? It does. It makes you feel better somehow. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, that's not anything. Cricket. Nope. U.S. President Barack Obama commutes WikiLeaks disclosure Chelsea Manning's prison sentence from 35 to 7 years. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, flight MH370 disappears. And baseball, no. NASA and NOAA announced that 2016 was the hottest year on record, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that. High-rise building collapses in Tehran. El Chapo finally recaptured. That was good news. Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 45th president of the United States of America, and Mike Pence as the 48th vice president. Okay. Now, that was January 20th. So I don't know what, and this says January 22nd, Jared Kushner is sworn in as senior advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump. So U.S. President Donald Trump and Australian PM Malcolm Turnbull have a contentious phone call over deal for U.S. to take 1,250 refugees. So let's go back here. I think that he was inaugurated on the 20th, and this was posted on the 25th. So Donald Trump was, in fact, president at this time. And she's saying you're going to need strong resolve as well as a judicial restructure. She's letting him know that. So, and you can't say that that's not true, because boy, oh boy, with what we've discovered now. Now, if we were reading this on January 25th, 2017, would we think that the U.S. needed a judicial restructure? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not at that level anyway. And, but yet now, after Q has been posting and educating us all, we see how bad it really is. So this is interesting. Now, the next video will probably be news, but the video after that, I will be doing 2018 posts. So stay tuned for that. And let me know in the comments below if you want me to continue with this and if you're interested. And I will do what I can. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you to you guys that donate to this channel, because it makes it possible. I have no advertising. I've been demonetized on Facebook. So it does make all the difference in the world, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you soon.